joining us on this YouTube channel and for making yourself available to answering some of the questions. I know you've recently moved to Panama, and I want to say thank you very much, because every single person that's gone away from South Africa, that's rooted themselves in a different country, is actually helping us build a little bit more of an understanding of what to expect when you go abroad. So thank you very much for your participation. We really, really appreciate it. So
good morning, Jeannie.
Tell me, well, afternoon from our side. We're in the afternoon already. Leon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? When did you decide to move abroad? Was it from the outset? Did you decide on Panama? Just give us a little bit of history. What happened and how did you decide to move to Panama?
Well, the idea of moving out of South Africa, it wasn't a sudden, just a pop-up idea. It came over years. And we did some research of different countries. You know, the normal countries where all the South Africans normally go: Australia, New Zealand, Britain, America, and so forth. And then we discovered Panama, and that South Africa is part of the Friendly Nations visa, which is accepted here in Panama. And it's one of the easiest countries to get in, to get permanent residency. And also it's working with the US dollar. And we did our research on Panama, and we met friends in Panama and contacted them. And so the discussion led to something else. We contacted the lawyers, and it was smooth sail.
Fantastic. Now, tell me, from the time that you decided to move up until the day that you actually got on the plane and went abroad, how long did that process take?
Well, I think my wife will understand that better. When we decided to move, we first had seminars with the lawyers and whatever to get more information about Panama. But when we really decided, okay, we're going to move now, it was a couple of months. It was quick. While in South Africa, you get all your paperwork and you send it to the lawyers, and they start a process. They open a corporation and applying for this and applying for that. The holdback was in South Africa, to get all the paperwork in South Africa. At first, they required an unabridged marriage certificate here in Panama.
Okay.
But they don't require it anymore. So at Home Affairs in South Africa, they shunt us around from Caledon to Paul, and we had to dig in the archives, and they had to look for our own unabridged marriage certificate, and I couldn't find a register. Home Affairs in South Africa, on the computers, on the system, we are married, but they can't give us an unabridged marriage certificate. So my wife and I had to apply as two separate entities, as two main applicants. But yes, and also the police clearance in South Africa takes ages.
And that should actually be a very simple process. Apparently, you can just go to the police station, your local police station, and apply for it, or not? Do you have to do it via a different channel, maybe via a lawyer?
No. It's not necessary to do it by a lawyer. Obviously, the police clearance, you need to take fingerprints and this and that and fill in forms, and I send it to Pretoria, and that is where everything is happening. I know a South African here in Panama that got a Panamanian police clearance. Once you're 2 years in Panama, you can go to the police here and get a police clearance here. And it will take you about half an hour, and you will walk out with your police clearance. Oh,
I think those are some of the frustrations that a lot of people in South Africa have, is that our basic services are just busy plummeting. Just nothing seems easy anymore. Nothing seems to work really good here anymore. And that's very big. That's a massive frustration.
The struggle is to get all the paperwork in place.
You also mentioned in one of your videos, I think, that you had to have your documents apostilled. What is that process? What does that entail, Leon?
That's easy. That is, I think that's Dirko in Pretoria that does that. Apostle is the same as, what do you call it when you go to the police station and they just say, okay, this is original document.
Yeah.
Apostle is something a little bit higher than that, to authenticate a document.
Okay.
And we from Hermanus, we make use of Postnet or DHL. They ship your documents up to Pretoria, and within 3 days you will have your documents back apostilled. So that's quite an easy process.
Yes. Leon, the process from the time that you started applying up until you went there, what was your cost? Because you didn't do it too long ago. I think you've been there a year and a half now. Was it very costly, or was it affordable?
Well, the wife will know all that. It is. Yes. Panama will be one of your cheapest countries for South Africans to move to. The lawyers' cost, you can say, is 50% of your total cost. That's quite expensive, but there's a lot that the lawyers do. They need to register a company for you. They get all your bank statements and blah, blah, blah. And there's a certain bank letter that you need to open a bank account here. The lawyers applied for your temporary residency and your permanent residency. So there's a lot of lawyers do, and they're really helping people. If I take a rough estimate, it will be roughly about $5,000 for the US dollars for the lawyers. And yeah.
Okay, it's costly, but I mean, if you take what you're getting for it, it's not that much at all. And sadly, we work with the dollar versus the South African rand that keeps on plummeting and plummeting. I want to ask you about your living over there. Are you guys happy? Do you feel that you could have done things a bit differently getting there? And how did you integrate into your community? And are there a lot of South Africans that you mingle with?
Well, yes, a lot of South Africans. Yes, a lot.
Okay.
I told my wife we actually socialize here more than what we did in South Africa.
Wow.
We go to a braais, which is a barbecue, and then you find like 30 South Africans there. And then the next weekend you go to another one, or maybe the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday to different ones in different places. And that is outside Panama City. That is in Cherokee Province, which is close to the Costa Rica border. So yes, a lot of South Africans here. Are we integrating in the community? Wow, it's just a different world. I mean, I've been all over the world, but Panama is totally different. The culture is different. The people is different. We must still get used to be more relaxed. Yesterday, I was in a car part dealership again, and there's a car in a parking lot with the window down and nobody in the vehicle. Things is just, we must do a mindset shift. If you go to Panama, security is totally different. So, but I love it.
So I've seen a couple of videos of some of the South Africans in Panama, and it seems like you've still got a little bit of petty theft, but security-wise, it's nothing compared to South Africa, right?
Correct. Anywhere in the world, you will have crime. Anywhere.
Yeah.
There is petty theft. I'm not sure about the stats. You will maybe get a break-in here, but say, for instance, to give you an example, if there's a break-in and somebody sees you in the house, they will run away. It's not. It's totally different. There's no. You feel so safe here. It's just unbelievable. And we're still trying to adapt to that. Our mindset is still South African mindset.
Yeah, you know, I spoke to my husband the other night and I said to him, you know, we've had 4 break-ins. Not here in Hermanus. When we were still living in KZN, we had 4 break-ins in a space of not even a year. The problem with that is that you literally go to bed every night. Securing absolutely every window. We don't leave a window open, and you know how hot it can get here. We don't leave a window open. We make sure that every door is on, the alarms are on, the dogs are out. The whole thing is set up. But a person's always got it in the back of your mind that you might have an incident tonight. And you sort of start prepping your kids and your family. If something happens, you've got to do this, do that, do that, do that. That drives me nuts. You know, I mean, our kids are now older. We've got kids that are, Matthew's turning 16 and Kayla's 13. So it's a little bit more understandable, but I can see the impact of our insecurity of not having to, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. When you get in the car, you go to the mall has been hit twice now in a space of a week.
What?
Yeah. You've always got to make sure your kids are right here next to you. And, you know, that is the sad part about South Africa. We've had an interesting, and the reason why I've actually also done this is there was on TV recently, they started talking about the brain drain. The government doesn't understand why people are leaving South Africa. And I thought, okay, let's start doing these interviews with people that's gone abroad. Let's give them the answer. We know why people are leaving. It's because of safety and security.
Yes, and that's a major thing, but it's...
And also think about the opportunities for your kids and your family as a whole. Am I right?
Yes, that's the major thing why we left South Africa. It's not, well, I could have stayed there, myself and a wife, but it's for the future of our kids. We've got one son is 15 and the other one is 10.
Yes.
How are they going up? I mean, they've got stabbing each other with knives in school there in South Africa.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Dealing with drugs in school.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just freedom, and the mindset of the kids totally changed because we mingle with Americans, the normal locals. We've got a huge expat community here. So the mindset of the kids changed. Our mindsets changed of what education should be about.
Yes.
And even the South African school system, that's the old British school system.
Well, look, my kids have been out of school, out of the mainstream school system for 4 years, going on 5 years now. I've been homeschooling my children because I don't, and I'm not saying the schools aren't great. There are some fantastic schools in South Africa, but we've opted to rather do the American schooling system. And yes, our oldest son is getting ready to go to medical school in Grenada at SGU.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So I'm looking for someone in Grenada to interview them as well, because we're even looking at Grenada, you know, as an option. The bottom line is, I think the world has opened up for all of us. No, obviously not during COVID, but your opportunities are a lot better now than what it was 15 years ago. Yes. In terms of income, what are you guys doing? You've got your online business. You obviously still have your business here, and I think you guys are doing some exciting stuff in Panama as well.
We're busy with some other projects here. Advice which I can give to someone is Panama is between, how can I say, a first world and a third world.
Yes.
It's got some first world stuff. If you go to Panama City, the metro train, that's awesome. But then it's got some third world stuff as well.
Yeah.
And most of the things in Panama is imported. So for people that's trying to come to Panama, they must understand Panama or maybe visit Panama before to decide what are they going to do. Don't come here with the expectation that you're going to get a job.
No.
Rather come here with an entrepreneurial mindset and think of what can you do that will help the people and obviously help yourself then.
Yeah. Tell me quickly, what was you guys decided to settle in Cherokee? What was the deciding factor? Because you've got Panama City, like you said, it's a first world city with all the amenities. And then you've got Cherokee that's almost third world or is third world. It's a bit laid back. What was the deciding factor that you decided to rather live in Cherokee versus Panama City, for instance?
Well, myself, as you know, I'm from Hermanus, the Western Cape. It's a small little country town.
Yeah.
So the city is very, very busy. It's nice to visit. My son loved the city, but the heat is the major thing. Yeah, in Cherokee province, you've got options like Bukete, Volcan, which the altitude is much higher. And you can see I was sitting this morning with a long sleeve. It's not getting too cold, but it's not getting too hot either, and the humidity is not high at all. Okay. So this is like the climate we used to.
Yes.
And yeah, that was the major factor, is the climate for us.
All right. The other thing that I want to ask you is, have you guys traveled a bit? Is it easier and cheaper to travel from there versus South Africa?
Well, if you're in Panama City and you want to travel, it's just amazing. You don't need a vehicle in Panama City. There's taxis, there's Uber, there's the metro buses, the metro train. On a YouTube channel, there's one of the channels that Anna, my wife, explained and how the train system works. It's so easy. Our kids can even, if they know where they're going, they can jump a train and they will go. It is really easy. You don't need to see what's the schedule for the train. You just walk down to the station and you will have a train within minutes.
Hop on and off.
Yeah, that is the in Panama City.
Yeah.
From Panama City to go outwards, you've got little buses, which is a little bit bigger than the South African taxis, and then you've got your big buses, which is nice. It's like your coastliners, how can I say, where you can throw your seat back.
Your luxury buses, yeah.
Yes, which is cheap, really cheap. Okay. From Panama City to David, which is about 7.5 hours, I think you will pay like $15.
Yeah,
it's really cheap. Yeah, it's like nothing.
And overseas, have you guys explored a bit? Obviously, we've got the whole lockdown going on. But have you been overseas since you've been there? You know, maybe to Mexico or the islands and stuff. Have you explored a bit?
No, we haven't been. Since we've been in Panama, we haven't been out of the country. We've been to Costa Rica, but that was just a little bit over the border. And we did explore Panama. We did go to Bocas del Toro, which is perfect Caribbean islands. The best diving I ever had in my life. We've been to other islands, to Boga Island, and we've been to other towns around.
Yeah.
So yes, we did explore, and Bocas del Toro is one of my favorite places, but I won't stay there. I would rather go there for a holiday and enjoy myself.
Yes. Okay, so what do you miss the most about South Africa?
South Africans. The culture, how can I say, camping, you know, you still need to know what equipment and places to go to, but in South Africa you can decide, I want to go fishing now, and you get your buddy and to jump in a vehicle and you go fishing. Yes, you can do it, if you start knowing the places and the people, but that's going to take some time. Camping, I miss camping. You know, the normal South African stuff, the familiarity, that is what I miss. But that will come here as well. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yes, I think a person's just got to settle in and you know, get to know your way around. Anyway, you can't do too much fishing here unless you go with a group of people, because you get mugged on the beach.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It happens, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be negative about South Africa, but this is the reality. You know, a person's got to look at what we've got in front of us, and we're all trying to make the best of it, and we love our country, but those are the very real negatives, and a person's got to live with it, right?
Yes, South Africa is a beautiful country. I miss the country.
Yeah.
I don't miss the circumstances. I miss the country.
Yeah.
South Africa's got a little bit of everything. It's got the wild coast. It's got a wilderness area. It's got a Karoo. It's got desert area. It's got a Western Cape. It's got a low veld. It's got everything.
Yes.
It's a beautiful country.
It is. Yeah. And we've got 4 seasons and you don't. You've got 2 seasons.
Yeah, but it's nice.
All right. Listen, Leon, it was really a pleasure. Is there anything from your side? Oh, last question. Are you guys divorcing completely from fiscally as well from South Africa?
Yes and no. We're busy with other investments as well.
Okay.
So we want to keep our tax residency in South Africa because we still want to get a tax clearance certificate and there's a reserve bank and all that.
All right.
So, but that's for investment point of view. It is actually no need to financially immigrate. If you go and look at a new tax law or whatever, if you're out of the country for a long time, that's fine. That's fine. The old tax law was 183 days. But yeah.
They've changed it, so I'm not 100% sure. Like I said to Elizabeth that I spoke to earlier or last week, I am actually planning on doing a whole video with one of the lawyers and tax consultants just to give us the gist of it and to explain it a little bit better, because I know there's implications and some people are very scared and want to detach fiscally completely. But I'm not sure what the implication is and, you know, what it's going to cost them, because it might be quite costly to do that. So we'll have a video at some point where we're going to explain that with a professional, which would be nice.
One of the things I understand, if your yearly income, it doesn't matter if it's 183 days, is more than $1 million, you need to pay tax on that. Excuse me. But what's nice about Panama, not talking about South African tax, say you did financially immigrate, all the income you make in Panama from abroad, say from South Africa, Europe, or whatever, all the international income you make in Panama is tax-free.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic. And then we've got what do you call the zones, the international zones, where there's 3 trade zones, like the Golan area, where there's no tax on importing stuff as well, and you can start doing business. So the opportunities is huge here, and we must make use of that.
Absolutely. Leon, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the call. I really appreciate it. I'm going to send you the link, and we'll put it onto YouTube, which is going to be amazing. And please, you know, if you know of anyone abroad, South African specifically, send them our way. Let's do the interview with them. Let's see what their experience is like, so that we can add value and give people the real nuts and bolts of what it takes to live abroad.
Roger that, will do.
All right, super. Have an amazing
Thanks.
day. My day is almost ending. Yours is only starting.
Yes.
But we'll catch you on the fly.
Thank you. Adios.
Thank you so much. Keep well.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.